1 Peter 1, verse 2. I got to read verse 1 to give you a little context. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to those who are elect exiles of the dispersion in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Now those are regions in modern Turkey or Asia Minor. According to the foreknowledge of God the Father in the sanctification of the Spirit for obedience to Jesus Christ and for sprinkling with His blood, may grace and peace be multiplied to you. Keep those three in view. What is he doing? He is writing a letter to them in exile, and he is setting a Trinitarian framework for them for what he is about to say. They are people who are elect. Now they're elect how? They're chosen exiles how? Well, according to the foreknowledge of God the Father. And foreknowledge there means beyond looking down through time, seeing that they would choose him. It has the idea of looking and setting his affections willfully upon them first. Think of 1 John. I love him because he first loved me. So God is the initiator. The Father's foreknowledge in the sanctification of the Spirit. So you're elect in the sanctification, meaning pulled by God's choice into a framework where you're set apart. The idea of sanctification goes back into the Old Testament when you have at the temple various, and even the tabernacle before that, various vessels that were pulled and set apart for holy use. This is the image that we should think about. The idea that we're set apart as vessels for the use of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Vessels for the use of God. So, in the Old Testament, you have sacrifices that would happen, and yet the priests had normal functions that they had to partake in. They had to gather water for themselves and food for themselves. And yet there were specific holy things that they had to do by making sacrifices, pouring out libations, and such. Some vessels were set apart for that holy task. Others were left for more common functions. Paul picks up on this actually in 2 Timothy, where he talks about vessels for noble use or vessels for ignoble use. And here, the sanctification of the Spirit is that the Spirit does the work of setting you apart for God's pleasure and God's purposes. For what? You're set apart for what? For obedience to Jesus Christ and for sprinkling with his blood. Meaning that his atonement, you're set apart to have your sins atoned for by Christ and to obey him, to do what he says. I'm not simply saved to be rescued, I'm saved to serve. I'm not simply saved as a relief, I'm saved for a purpose to pursue what God calls me to. So the Father foreknows, the Spirit sanctifies, and the Son is who we obey. So we follow and hang on every word. May the Lord bless you today as an exile, elect for a distinct purpose and set apart to that end.